right. It's 7:01, so it's time to get started. So excited to have all of you here. Welcome officially to the Wednesday, December 11th, 2024, Garrison Board of Education's regular workshop business meeting. Let's call roll, please.
Jocelyn Apostello here. Eric Arnold here. Jennifer Garrison Wilson here. Dan Jasnow here. Peter Lesser here. Ken Shaw here. Sarah Torrance here.
All right, for the agency. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Next up, we have agenda changes. Do I have any recommended changes to this evening's agenda? Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union School District hereby accept the agenda as presented. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Names, abstentions. All right, we're going to turn over to Gavin.
Thank you, Sarah. Members of the committee, Board of Education, yes, we're really excited to introduce our jazz rock ensemble. And before I let them take it away, I just want to remind the community that our winter concert is next Wednesday, December 18th at 7 p.m. in the school gym. If there's inclement weather, a makeup date is the next day, the 19th at 7 p.m. So I'm going to kick it over to our esteemed director, Mr. Jeff Barone.
Thank you, Dr. Stoll. This is our third year playing the Board of Ed meeting the week before the concert. It's great for us. This is our smaller group. It's not in the schedule. It's something extra for students that want a little more. And it's great practice for us. Actually, this is the first time we've had the whole band in one room. It'd be tricky getting, kids are very busy. So I hope you enjoy this as a little sample for next week. Thank you.
One, two, three, four. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. We have more of that. So if you want to see more of that, this comes on to all of our community. I'm so impressed. All of you and the hard work. I get to hear this every day, so this is a surprise to me. But you blew it out of the water. Great job. Now, we welcome you to stay for the board. We should, I think Mr. Roman.
Audience, so, and we have a really exciting. We have Haldane here, and I think that really connects well because, the job on the running room, that I can't even hear it. Difficult part of making that happen with your energy. So it's only fitting that we brought you back for sample. We do have Haldane, we have next, for anyone who wants to stay, we usually leave home for Haldane board members, you do have the chair to welcome the vice chair if you would so wish, you don't, that's okay. But one more board meeting. So I'll let, if anybody needs to leave, it's usually
John.
Before I begin, I just want to thank everybody for inviting us here and having us today. I think it's incredibly special that we have the opportunity at the town of Phillipstown to work together with our students and to hear them play and get to see them grow to the next. So thanks for having us this evening. First, I'd like to thank our interim superintendent, Carl Albano, who you all know very well. In addition, we have Dr. Penny Clements, who is our board president, who is here this evening. Dr. Michelle Cover, who is one of our deans here this evening. Sean McDowell, who is here this evening, and Ezra Clemenson, which I have to make more on for because we're only about time, but they're just here to listen. In addition, this evening I have 3 students, and I did try to get to some different grade levels for you. So Henry is here to represent the freshmen, and Kat is here to represent the juniors already. That's crazy to me. Having 3 Nelson children, the last. And then we also have Hunter here, who is 8 here. So we have 3 different grade levels represented. And if you have any questions as I go through the presentation, please feel free. In addition to myself, Dr. Regina Cation, our director of PPS, is here, and so is Tom Cunningham, our athletic director and dean. So I'm going to try to go through this fairly quickly, but at any point, stop me if you have a question in regards to what it is that we're talking about, or Dr. Cation, or Mr. Cunningham, or if there is a question for one of our fabulous students, please feel free to ask them as well. And then there'll be time at the end of our presentation for general questions. Let them hesitate. So, just first, obviously something that we're proud of. We are proud that we are a Blue Ribbon school yet again for the second time in 7 years. That's very, for us, a rewarding thing. We did receive the Blue Ribbon Award based on our students and their academic performance. Definitely proud of that accomplishment. So this evening, my plan is to go over our district, our mission and essentials, and looking at Garrison. We really do align in terms of mission and the essentials. We refer to them as essentials at Haldane. It's also what we're hearing more and more that language in New York State around the portrait of the graduate, right? So if you're following any of the changes that are coming down, that's one of the big changes is what is the portrait of the graduate. So our essentials do also align with that portrait of the graduate. I'm going to talk a little bit about course and programming, extracurricular activities, post-high school planning, the whole child and what opportunities we have as we focus on the whole child. At Haldane, continuous improvement, what we're currently working on, some of the big projects that I'm sure you've heard something about over the last couple of months. Some data, I'm going to go through some data points quickly. I'm not going to focus on AP data, I'm not going to focus on NWEA data, I'm not going to focus on a lot of data points. The only data points I'm going to focus on are Regents exams, because those are universal across the state and everybody is offering them. So it's comparing apples to apples. So we'll do a little Regents dive and I'll go through those quickly. Talk a little bit about the high school selection process. And then again, when I talk about continuous improvement, there'll be just a couple quick slides on our building referendum that was just passed. So with that, every school district has a mission, and our mission really does focus on the whole child. I think Hunter might have made this picture, maybe not. Frank's in that picture, Frank. But you'll just see here, these are Haldane students. I think they've grown up together, the Garrison and Haldane students have grown up together at the rec center. They know each other, they're neighbors. They definitely are a tight-knit group, but we are committed to ensure that our students are healthy, they're safe, they're supported, they're challenged, and they're engaged. That sums up our mission. And as we look at the profile of a graduate, we look at these in two separate categories. 3 of them are easily accessible or more easily accessible than the other 3 categories. And if you look on the right, you see critical thinking, problem solving, and communication. If you look towards the left, you see the emotional intelligence, the wellness, and the growth mindset. And when our teachers are developing their curriculum, aligned with the standards, they are to be thinking about these essentials as they develop that. So if I'm to go into a curriculum and look at what it is teachers are teaching within their classroom, I can look at that curriculum and I can see what the essentials are within that unit of study. Are they focusing on all 6 of them? Or maybe it's 3 of them. But here you see what we refer to as the Haldane essentials, but they will definitely clearly align with the profile of a graduate. And they actually came from, and Peggy was on that group, they came from a process that we did 5 years ago called What Does the Portrait of a Graduate Look Like? So that's where this comes from. I'm going to turn it over to Regina. Yeah, you need that.
I'm glad to have a stool. It's definitely very inclusive. So thank you again for having us here. It is really an honor to be in front of you and to talk to you about our program. And I think you'll hear in our voices and hopefully in the students' voices, there's a lot of pride in our program. So in terms of our pupil personnel department, it really is designed, and we're trying to structure and build it so that it is a support for all students. And to that end, we have really taken some strides in using the universal design for learning as a lens for how we approach all of our thinking, all of our problem solving, and even frankly our construction that's coming up. So universal design really looks at what are the barriers for all of our learners, how can we anticipate their needs, and then how can we build things from lesson plans to, like I said, physical spaces with those needs in mind. So we've been really investing in our professional learning around universal design, and we're gradually applying that overlay to some of our current lessons and units that are, of course, aligned with the state standards. We also have a pretty robust multi-tiered system of support, especially for a small school. So we really are able to provide a lot of building level services, as we call them, for any student at any point that may or may not need an infusion of some extra support. So we have that across all the buildings and certainly throughout our high school. Part of that multi-tiered system of support includes some extra lab classes that can be attached to science. You don't need to have an individual education plan or a 504 plan to access that. We also have some academic intervention services. We have a 10th period, which is really something that I have not encountered before until I was at Haldane, which is a time period where all of the teachers are available for the students to come to. Students can pretty much show up in almost any classroom, and teachers are available for that period just for extra help. It's really like getting almost free tutoring. They can work on assignments that are due, they can work at a concept that they don't understand. We also have something called HEART. I know we struggle to remember what it stands for, but at the end of the day, it's 2 hours of tutoring, and it's every Tuesday and Thursday. And once again, students can go there and get free, almost individualized instruction as just built into the school day. So in addition to that, we really have an ever-expanding continuum of special education services. So when you think of the gamut from just a related service to resource room, we have some consultant teacher service models. We have co-taught classes in almost all of our core courses. And we also have some specialized instruction that we've had to be creative around. We also started something called the skills class. And this is also open to all students, whether or not they have an identified disability or not. And the skills class really emphasizes those learning strategies, those learning behavior strategies that we know so many students struggle with, especially our 9th graders, with organization and executive functioning skills. So that was something that we opened up this year to help further expand our continuum.
Can I interrupt just for 1 second? Anybody here go to 10th period today? What class? You went AP Stats, you went chemistry? English. Are you telling the truth? That was like a half. So 2 of the 3 today already took advantage of 10th period. You talked to Miss Linda at the end of the day. So I really do think that is definitely a great program, and many students take advantage of it.
We've also spent some time acknowledging and recognizing that a lot of our young people are struggling. It's not that easy to be a young person in today's world, or a parent for that matter. So we have spent some time and have put some money behind our values, which align with our essentials. But we just added a new school counselor in our high school who is working with our 9th and 10th graders, but will also handle the transition from our 8th graders, including Garrison 8th graders, into our high school. That has enabled our other high school counselor, who's also the head of our department, to really focus on the 11th and 12th graders and their next steps, the transition into career, to college, and all of that. We have 2 full-time social workers in the K through 12 district. We have 2 now full-time school psychologists, and that's also an increase from last year. We used to have about 1.5 school psychologists. And we have a full-time behaviorist, a BCBA, and that's also unusual for a school of this size. And the behaviorist really is super valuable for developing intervention plans, but sometimes even just working with the student to develop like executive functioning skills and strategies, because as I said, that's a known area of weakness. We have an SRO who's full-time on our campus and is really an integral part of our functioning on the campus. It's really a great resource for all of us. So that's been valuable too, to partner with our SRO to help keep our students safe.
So if we talk about academics, one of the things that I want to mention that aligns as well with what Regina was talking about support services. We have had a rotating drop schedule for at least 10 years now. It could be longer, and a unit lunch for at least 10 years. So our students all eat at the same time, teachers are available, but more than that, it allows our students to have their club meetings, and that type of stuff doesn't have to happen after school hours. So I wanted to mention that here, the 55-minute period that allows for deeper learning and deeper instructional opportunity, as opposed to that 41-minute schedule where you feel like you're in and out of a classroom very quickly. We offer 13 AP courses, 15 college credit courses. We have students who graduate from Haldane with a minimum of 3 college credits, because everybody will take a college credit course before they graduate. Our government course that we offer for seniors, everybody will get 3 credits in such as community college. But we also have students who can graduate with well over 40 credits, whether that's with the dual enrollment classes. And dual enrollment doesn't necessarily mean they're AP courses, and an AP course doesn't necessarily mean it's a college course. They could be both, they could be one, they could be the other, or they could be neither. In addition to that, we have 20 elective or leadership courses. And those 20 elective classes change depending upon student interest. So we don't offer the same elective classes every single year. We do try to get into a rotating phase of those classes so students can have more opportunities. Obviously, in a smaller school, you have less teachers, right? But you want to make sure that they have those opportunities to take different elective classes. So if it's engineering, if it's media presentation through PBS, might not be every year, the following year might be journalism, where we're working on a paper. I gave you a folder, you all have our local, that is the Haldane newspaper that comes out quarterly. That's written and designed and the layout all by students. You want to know anything about Haldane? Just read that newspaper. Wait till the next version. There might be a little bit more controversy, but it's good. It's what they want to write about, it's what they want to research, it's what they want to learn about. And they truly are doing the research, asking the questions, and putting together the article. So again, many different elective classes. Next year, we're looking, the board, I put this in my report last week, we are looking at a geography course specific. We're expanding environmental and some of our environmental programming. And in terms of research, we currently have one student who's doing a very intensive research project. And we have offered science research in the past. And based on numbers, we're looking to bring back our science research program next year.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
With your science research program, these are credits through University of Albany.
So right now, we would probably roll it out that it would not be in year 1, but those same students, depending on what university they decide to go with. So when you are rolling out a science research program, you first have to go to your community college, and you have to get approval to not use the community college. Once you get that, then you have to go to the state. So then you have to go to any state university, and they may accredit you to do it through the state. And also Syracuse University has it. And so we are also affiliated already with Syracuse University and have had it affiliated with Syracuse in the past. So we're looking through that now in terms of what do we believe best meets what it is that we want to be doing. We do have a student right now that's actually doing a science research project. It can't be on his transcript because it's not through necessarily the school, but he's working with Brown University on a separate project that he was selected as a high school student to do. So there are those opportunities, and I think with that small guidance counselor to student ratio, you can find those opportunities for students if you know your students. So she knew he was looking for something, parents got together with students, and here we are. So yeah. I think this is still me. So as we talk about diversity, we talk about rigorous curriculum, we talk about all of our students, a few things that we really do strive for. We strive to appropriately place our children in courses, our students in courses. And it might mean as a freshman you're taking chemistry, and it might mean as a freshman you're not taking chemistry. It really depends on how you are as a learner. Anybody here take chemistry as a freshman? Okay. So, you know, it depends on the student. We really work to get our students into upper level classes, including those in math and science. You, again, if you're following New York State right now, they're coming out with different graduation requirements that will be rolling out in the cohort of 2027. They will be the first group. So freshmen of 2027 will have the full implementation of the new graduation requirements. Already they've stated that the seals are 2 things that they are going to accept as part of those graduation requirements. We have had the seal of biliteracy at Haldane since the inception of the seal of biliteracy. Yeah, we started small. We only had one student the first year we did it. And now we actually have the graduate from Haldane last year holds the national record for the number of seals, not just the state record, but the national record. She got the seal of biliteracy in 7 or 6? 6. You wrote the article. She got the seal of biliteracy in 6 different languages in Haldane. So if you want to take an AP exam in any language, we will offer it to you. Obviously, we don't have to grade AP exams. They are all externally graded, but she was able to get a 5 on 6 different language exams. We also have the seal of civic readiness. We rolled that out last year. Garrison students come to us with at least 1 point in their research project, their capstone that they do as 8th graders. So that's wonderful that they kind of start a little bit ahead. We're hoping Haldane this year in the 8th grade our students will be able to come to high school with 1 point. That this will be the first year for Haldane to do that. So you guys were a year ahead of us in that. In addition to facing history in ourselves is a lot of our SEL work, and that's embedded work in the curriculum. So when we're talking about diversity, we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about our biases, we're talking about how we have empathy and we have understanding, we embed that work into our existing curriculum. It's not a separate program. It's built into what we're teaching, whether it's in English, in social studies, and you can go online and find a lot of information on facing history in ourselves, and we work with BOE to bring that to Haldane. Another resource that we use a lot is the Hudson Valley Urban Center. That's another great free resource within the region. They do a lot of work with your ENL, your L population, but the work that they do in terms of pedagogy and instruction is valuable to every learner. It goes back to what Regina was talking about when she was talking about UDL and Universal Design for Learning and how you reach every child and how you ensure that you do that. She's got the best graphic. It's the picture of somebody, there's a bunch of snow out on the front steps. And there's the steps to go up to the front door and there's a ramp. And the maintenance is shoveling the steps. And the student in the wheelchair is standing there. They're sitting there waiting to get into the wheelchair. If they had only shoveled the ramp first, everybody can get into it, right? So this is some of the work that we find ourselves doing with the Urban Center. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Honey.
Good evening. Thank you for the invite tonight. Which the weather's kind of tricky, but it's an adventure in the winter. As you can tell, a couple things I'll focus on here. We'll start with the travel piece. Overnight trips, very popular for us, for our juniors and seniors. This year, our juniors will be going to Washington, D.C., I believe, for 3 nights. Is it right? 3 nights? 4 nights.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is 4 nights as well. So those are a couple of things that, are, I think, you don't find in many districts. What I think is important about that piece is we actually plan these trips all in the same week. So we look at our calendar, and so we're not interrupting. It's very, it's not happening in different parts of the year. It's happening in 1 week of the year, and that includes the Broadway trip as well for freshmen. We did freshmen and sophomores last year. Kayaking trip, that's done in the, Hunter did that this year. That's right at the beginning of the school year, which is always a good kind of our team building, I think, for the senior class is what you would call it. It's really, it's a fun day. Kids go out on the river, and you find that actually a lot of our students have never been down to the river, which is interesting. So that's a new experience for them. As you can see, we have language immersion, some annual programs listed up there. Debate, I believe, was recently, they did a debate, correct? Right?
Yeah,
Monday, yep. Mile UN at UConn took their trip this fall and was a good experience from what the teacher said. As you can see, authentic experiences, just some key things. A lot of you have the Outlook newspaper. I see you looking at it as you're sitting there. It's in your packet. We talked about the debate club. Many clubs, many opportunities, as Mrs. Sniffen said, during lunch, having that unit lunch is important. After school, an opportunity to meet during 10th period. So there's a lot of opportunities for students throughout the school day as well as after school. Sorry. All right, obviously our holiday in arts, recently, this past weekend, we had our play, which was Macbeth, fantastic performance. Two groups, right? They call them two casts. So people get to perform in two different areas of the play, which is unbelievable. So it's a lot for them to do. Instrumentals, we have our concert band, jazz band, and blues devils. We offer studio 1 and 2, drawing, painting, ceramics. All the bands are independent. And for our music, obviously we talked about Blue Notes music. So there's many opportunities throughout for our fine arts, for people that are interested in fine arts. What we find actually with us being, what I find at least, is when we have the play, how many of our, being on the athletic side, how many of our athletes are working on the play as well as during practice. So they're balancing their time, which is, I give them a lot of credit for that because that's a lot of work. All right, now we've got athletics. As you can see, we do offer quite a bit of opportunities for our high school athletes. One of the things I like to focus on here is the opportunity for mergers. What we do is when you merge with another school, as you all know, we merge in many, few modified sports. But when we look at, like, if somebody came to me, like last year, I'll use this example, is I had a parent call and ask about girls ice hockey. So what I did is I reached out to the section 1 and I asked, is it true that ice hockey's, so they have 3 different teams in each region of our section. So I researched it, have an opportunity. So we have a female ice hockey player who's a freshman this year, who's actually a very good ice hockey player. She has an excellent opportunity to play ice hockey. So that merger for her is very important. It's an important piece. Same thing with boys, ice hockey and swimming for both. And last year we did a tennis merger for boys. So we offer girls tennis, but we do not offer boys tennis just because of our limited numbers for boys interested in it. We have a merger with Brewster. So it's an opportunity. We're providing opportunities for some of the sports that we do not provide as a full team. So it's something that we really take pride in, and parents are super supportive with the whole process. So it's been really smooth for our athletes to participate with other schools. One of the other things we're very proud of is Scholar Athlete Schools of Distinction. What that means is 100% of our teams earn the Scholar Athlete Award, which is done through New York State Public High School Athletic Association. We did it in 21, 22, 23, 24, and then this past fall, all of our 7 teams earned Scholar Athlete Award, which is quite an accomplishment. So we're on a pretty good roll, so hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the year. Another thing that's important for us, we have a trainer on site. She's excellent. She's been, I think, there for about 8 years, maybe. So she has an excellent relationship with our athletes, as our athletes can attest here, because all 3 of our representatives are athletes, and they've worked with Meg extensively. Again, this past year we replaced our turf, which was an excellent project. It looks great if you haven't seen it. We offer huddle broadcasting for our games, which is all on our website. And then this year we're starting to kind of restart our Student Athletic Council, which is we're going to try and build our leadership amongst our athletes. And then we'll have our coaches select a few athletes from their team. We're going to come together and we're going to make it it's going to be a student-led council. So it's something that, us as leaders sometimes find it hard for our students to kind of take charge. So it's for us to listen and then work with them and how we can build leadership amongst our athletes. Then Spirit Week. it's a big deal here in the fall. What we do is, we try, I think we were pretty successful this year, try to get a homecoming game for each of our teams, play on the turf and kind of have it be the central piece of that day for that week. And then it ends with us with a football night game throughout that day. We have our pep rally and all those. So these are traditional things. And then for our seniors, the big is the Scoop the Loop, where, we get together, very safely planned out for us to work with our SRO, for our students to drive, and just, it's kind of that ending piece for our seniors. Send-offs, we've had some success last year with our varsity boys basketball team, and that they made it all the way to the state Final Four. So if we make it to that piece, we gather the whole school together. For example, we did it on a Friday morning in the spring, in March, and we take an opportunity to recognize the team with everybody from the school out on where our flagpole is, and we recognize and we send the team off to the state tournament. So that's another tradition that's fun to take part in. Senior celebrations. Did we do the sunrise?
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They sent it,
Yeah.
they left it out.
That's right. So sunrise gathering is another tradition. And then, obviously, like I said, senior year, you have Scoop the Loop, and an awesome tradition is just that ending note of ringing the bell when you go receive your diploma. So, there's a lot going on, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, but thank you for the opportunity tonight.
So I apologize for the bit of a jarring transition to data, and actually, to be honest, a little bit of a sobering topic to talk about, and I'll watch how I speak about it. We have members of the community of all ages present. So, I think Ms. Sniffin's been doing this a while, and she said inevitably questions come up from the community about where does Haldane stand? What behaviors do some of our students engage in terms of riskier behaviors and behaviors that we obviously could compromise some of their future successes. This data that you're looking at is from the 2022 Putnam County Risk Needs Assessment Survey. We do that survey every other year, and I think it gives us some valuable information and data. I think that our school community is really like a microcosm of the broader community, and the things that are happening in the broader community, whether that's Putnam County, Hudson Valley region, New York State, across the United States, we're not immune to any of these challenges and the struggles that some of our young people face. So we want to be out in front. We want to talk about it and not hide some of the issues that do exist. But we also think that we have something important happening at Haldane, which is that we really do have a really strong opportunity for engagement in pro-social behaviors. And you can see here that we actually do have quite a bit of pro-social protective factors. So being involved in whether it's athletics or the arts or having close personal relationships. When you look at schools and say, can every single child in that school say that there's an adult in that school that knows their name and cares about them? Some of those things are extremely essential for protective layers, really, for our students that will inevitably be faced with some challenges and some decisions that they have to make. So it's something that we're committed to. I personally, with the superintendent's, support, I'm very involved over at Putnam County and in working with some of our task forces that are involved in looking at risky behaviors and how to reduce that, whether it's driving more safely, whether it's decisions around substance. So it's something that we're committed to, that we're working with, and that we want to be transparent about. Any questions about that specifically? There's a lot more information on this survey that we could always share with you if you would like that information.
One of the things that I thank Regina for taking that slide, and I do think it's important, and that we are transparent and that we have open dialogue and conversation as it relates to youth. Having two high school, somewhat aged students, that's very near and dear to my heart. One of the things here that I just want to point out without you can read for yourselves, we offer the PSATs and the SAT during the school day. That to me is an equity issue. There are many students across this nation that cannot get to a place on a Saturday to take the SATs. I think it's vital that schools offer these things during the school day. It's an equity issue. In addition to that, I think we offer a tremendous amount of parent information sessions. So we have 9-10 parent night, which is like everything I wish I knew before they were a junior. Now what am I supposed to do? Then we have junior parent night, which is like, okay, now we really need to start thinking about post high school. We have financial aid night, we have college admissions reps come in, we have alumni panel. We really work one-on-one with our students. When your senior class has 76 students in it, you are really getting that individual attention as to what it is you are planning to do post high school. Is your plan Ivy? Is your plan an ASTAC? Is your plan to go to a technical school? Is your plan to take a gap year and travel? You're not going to take a gap year and do nothing. We're going to support you in finding a year off to do something meaningful, something that's going to help you grow. And that's, I think, a very important piece of that slide. This is just a list of student acceptance and where our students have been accepted to. This is just last year. All of the schools that are listed, students were accepted to. The yellow is where they selected to go. So if you see something highlighted in yellow, that's where the student is currently. So you see all the way from community college to state school to private institution. And you have this information in front of you, so you can read it at your leisure. I'm going to skip this video. Some of you have already seen it. Some of you have already seen it a few times. It's an incredible video that our students produced about the Haldane experience. Unless you want me to show it right now, I mean, what is it, 7 minutes? We can 7 minutes? You've seen it at least 3 times. It's about 7 minutes.
Is it available on your website?
I can make it available on the website in the morning, and we can get it to you. All right, so let's see if we can quickly go through this without needing somebody to come on and protect. Yes. So continuous improvement, obviously you'll hear a little bit about capital projects at the end. Panorama survey is something we do every single year. We survey our students to say, what are we doing well? What do we need to improve on? What have you enjoyed? What have you not enjoyed? Are you engaged? And we take that information, we take that data, and then we use it and we do something with it. Whether it's the counselors that are going to do something with the information, whether it's the freshman teachers that need to do something with it, it's usually not the juniors and seniors. They are usually pretty happy, juniors and seniors. So that is one thing we do. The prevention needs assessment, Regina already spoke about, and the master schedule we build by hand every single year. We never copy over a master schedule and use the same one. Our master schedule is built on student interest. So if students are interested in taking a certain course and there's a certain number of students who want to take it, we're going to offer that many sections of it so we don't block them out of it. That's a really important piece. Many school districts do not build their master schedule from scratch every year. There's more. Is it me? Maybe just hit the arrow down. And these next slides are going to go really fast. There we go. So just very quickly, you have this information in front of you. I said at the beginning, we're going to take a look at some data. The only data we're reviewing is Regents data because it's the only data that you can use that's comparative. So what you see in front of you now across the bottom, obviously you have Haldane, Scott Valley, O'Neill. You have the passing rate, and then you have the mastery rate. Passing rate is 65, mastery rate is 85. So this is the totality of the students taking that English Regents in all of the school districts. We can go to the next one. Here you see math. We only offer algebra and geometry Regents. We do not offer Common Core Algebra 2. The logic behind that is the Algebra 2 Common Core at New York State removed trigonometry. And our math department felt very strongly that trigonometry needed to be part of a math program. in that it prepares them for calculus, and it is definitely needed for physics. So we removed Algebra 2 Common Core, which you have the choice to do so, and we offer Algebra 2 Trigonometry. Yeah.
They have the option to sit for it, should they wish to.
They absolutely have the option to sit for it. And what we always say to them, if they want to take that Regents exam, to go and tell their Algebra 2 Trig teacher, because there are some specific things that the teacher will review with them prior to sitting for that exam. Next slide. Here you'll see the history scores of all 3 schools. Next slide. I just want to point out chemistry at 100% passing rate on chemistry, which is amazing. Kudos to the student and teacher. Pause here for a moment. Again, no comparative data. This is just for grade Haldane. These are just AP results for the last 4 years. And what you'll notice is we definitely have a cohort effect in that when we have students, we have some class sizes that have been over 90. Most of our class sizes range around 75. You'll see that in 2023, we had 320 different exams were given, AP exams were given, right? And last year, 296 exams were given. When you look at that top line, that's the total number of students that took exams. So you have 122 different students last year that took 296 exams. You have 112 students who scored a 3 or higher, meaning last year 91% of our students passed AP exams. 91% of students passed their AP exam. That's incredible. Yes, if you were to look at other schools, you're going to see a jump at other schools. It's not just like, wow, how in that one year. AP College Board did shift their bar a little bit. There were more students we saw across the world get a 3 or higher last year than normal. We saw it in AP Calculus, and we saw it in US History. Those were the 2 exams that they shifted their scoring metrics, but you don't learn about that until after. So you'll see we do quite well, and part of this is part of the blue ribbon as well. Next slide. Just a little bit of the difference between IB and AP. We have explored IB in my time. The prior principal, Brian Ulm, did a lot of research on the IB program and thinking about whether it was something that would fit the population of Haldane, and at that time felt that we were better suited as a district to stick with the AP. We already had so much research and project-based learning and integration within our curriculum that he felt it was appropriate to stick with AP as opposed to changing over to IB. We haven't explored it since then. Mr. Ulm, I want to say 8 years now, 10 or whatever, I don't know. We did a lot of research at that time as to what we want to do. And everything I read and everything I learn, if students are worried about rigor, you want to take the most rigorous courses you can in the high school in which you attend. And I think that's the bottom line for any high school student who's really looking to challenge themselves. In your folder, you also have what's called the Haldane profile. Every school district must provide a profile. That profile goes with the students when they are applying to colleges, because you can't compare a student who doesn't have the opportunity to take Health BC at their high school against a school that does, if the student doesn't have access to it. So colleges use that to help inform their acceptance. So they really do look at what do you offer and are the students taking the most rigorous courses possible.
Okay, one question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, I know about other parts of you don't have to take all the full formal program. Have you looked at maybe offering like 1 or 2 courses in IB, or is it theory of knowledge, or is it going out first?
We have not, I'll be honest, we have not looked at that. I think like the theory of knowledge and looking at that interdisciplinary and really focusing on project-based or problem-based is really more of where we focused our energy, and rolling out these seals, which now I feel very good about that, knowing that the state is going in that way. It doesn't matter what APs you took, what IBs you took, like right now, what they're really showing is these seals, these different pathways, for diploma. Doesn't mean Regencies are going away. I think we all have to remember that. There still is federal regulation that Regents exams will still be administered, but not necessarily needed to graduate from high school. I kind of answered your question. I add a little spin to it. Slide. I'm going to go quickly through this. You've probably seen some of this. Just some projected changes. One of the things we're looking to, you're good, you can go to the next. What we're looking to do in that orange spot is really bring our clinicians together. Bring our support services to our location. Our social workers, our psychologists, our dean of students, and our school counselors will be in that orange area. That back blue area will become a STEAM lab. There'll be two sides, the clean side and the dirty side. The clean side will be the instructional, CAD, designing, working. The dirty side will be laser printers, will be 3D printers, will be wood shop. You'll notice on the back side of that is a garage door, so they can start bringing that stuff outside to really work and build. You also see a common area there. That can be for eating, that can be for presentations, that can be for guest speakers. Really excited about having that large space available. Also have some multi-conference rooms there in kind of that pink color, and secured vestibule at the front of the high school. You go to the next slide, which shows the second floor. We are looking to no longer use Naval Merit. If you've been over at Naval Merit building, it's a wonderful, beautiful old carriage house. It is not built for classrooms, it is built for horse and buggy. So the students will come out of that area and they will be in the main building, the world language department, and we are also building the art classroom up in that area. When you're going to build STEAM downstairs, you need to have your art up there as well, as it's all integrated together. Next slide. That's just a rendering of the multi-purpose room. I thank the community for supporting. There was a lot of conversation about the size of the ceiling, but when you live where we live, you really want to enjoy the beauty of it. And I believe our community deserves to see that beauty, see the windows, see the river, see the valley, and hopefully that'll all be filled with artwork, student work. We're excited about that. Next slide. That's still that student conference room, as I mentioned. There could be quartets, there could be small singing performances that would happen there. Next slide. And that's just the innovation student. And that concludes. I would encourage you to go to the website. I have a couple questions for our students. I want to get them engaged and involved. I'm going to ask if they would all come up. Maybe introduce yourself, your favorite class, and why did you choose to go to Haldane? If you only had O'Neill and Haldane, you had only O'Neill and Haldane, and you had three. So why don't you guys introduce yourself, your favorite class at Haldane, and why did you choose? And then if you have any more questions for them, they're on board. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hunter Erickson. Favorite class is probably math with Mr. Woolen. Really nice teacher. There's so much good stuff to talk about. I mean, he just is always encouraged and very focused on you and just specifically you in the moment. He moves to each person with the intent of doing that, which is really nice to have a teacher and a teacher. But why I chose Haldane was just because I knew I was in the community my whole life, and I was always in Cold Spring with a lot of people, know the teachers too. That was really nice. So being able to just know what I'm going into is better than knowing somewhere else I didn't know what I was getting into. So that's what it really came down to in the end.
I'm Henry Lomadic, and my favorite class is probably trade with Mr. Morrow. And she's just really, first of all, really kind person, and feels like she really cares about teaching and cares about every single student. And she's not there just to get paid and work, but really because she wants the students to do well, and because she believes in us. I think the main reason I chose Haldane at first, when I first heard of it, because I knew a lot of people there. And it's good to have a community to start with and build off from there. school scare you. Go to a school you don't know a single person. I heard that the sports program was really good, and the school I went to before Alabama, they had no sports. So I really wanted to like have a really good experience with sports when it was my first time. Also, out of everybody that I asked, I had the best academics out of all the places I had. I think I had Putnam Valley, Lakeland, and William. And everybody that I asked said that Howden had a really good program for education, had a lot of easy courses, and gave you a lot of freedom to decide what you want to do.
I'm Anna, and I would say that my favorite class was also Mr. Newland. I take intro to with him, and I think that he is really helpful, especially at 10th period with the one-on-one working together. He definitely, his goal in teaching is to help everyone succeed, and he definitely tries to teach in many different ways for students to understand. And sometimes it takes a few times for me to understand a topic, but he always tries his best to teach me in different ways in order to understand it. I would say that one of my main reasons for choosing Howden was because I also heard that people had the best academics there. They felt the most supported with their academics there. They felt that they had the most access to classes that were fit for them and that they really succeeded in. I also knew a lot of people prior to going from sports, and I grew up with them from those sports, and so I just felt that it was
Very much. Do you have any questions for students? We wanted to ask all of the students faculty that how well prepared did you feel when you entered Howden, coming out of not for you, certainly everybody, but it was you were at our school. Do you feel like you were prepared to get to high school
I definitely felt that it was a little harder going into some of the courses that I did, especially taking chemistry as a freshman and geometry. But I did also feel that the teachers were really understanding of the fact that I came from a different school and a different way of learning. So they definitely were super helpful in getting me into a way of organizing my workload and then teaching me concepts that other students may have seen before, but I hadn't necessarily seen coming from a different school. So I felt that it definitely was a big shift, but the teachers really helped me move it.
Well, based on the same thing, I struggled in middle school. It was like learning in general, struggled with English and math, and all that, like just understanding topics and being able to do it myself. So going from 8th grade to high school was a struggle for me in the first months. Other teachers really understand, very helpful, like took their time, periods, a lot of hours, but it eventually got better. But I would say there's just the jump from the workloads, because it's a lot different from going from Garrison. I think, for my opinion, you got slower, and then when you put it out, it gets sped up a little bit. They really got up on your tail, and once you realize that, you have to figure out a way to get better and get more time to check with the assignment. So that's how they help a lot with that, because to be able to each day that we do have time to look at.
Thank you so much. Other questions?
Well, thank you. If you have any questions, my door is always open. I know if anybody wants to come for a visit or a tour, I know we had Dr. Stoll over.
I was just gonna mention thank you, and I met with Hunter and Anna and a lot of other kids, and I have to just say publicly that to a T, every single one of them talked about how caring, committed, and dedicated your staff is. So I just want to thank them on behalf of the Garrison students. Everyone, from freshmen to seniors, that they're successful because of the efforts of their teaching staff. please share.
I will do, thank you.
If you guys want to stick around, we have a very special presentation coming up next in award tenure. But I have another obligation, but thank you very much. Yeah, really want to superintendent board. Yeah, you have to find that. Thank you, students. Thank you.
I think it was battery up. Little chocolate.
While we're waiting for that, does the goat live in the middle there?
That's a really good question, yeah. No, the goat actually had to go, we don't have the goat living on campus for the winter. Joey can tell you all about the goat, but Chocolate and Chip will be back, in the spring. But our students, Ada, actually this year, they just wrote a grant to the Bedford Environmental Organization that regionally gives out grants, and they just wrote a grant to have an irrigation system put in the area that they have planted, where the goats were. So a lot of big things happening in terms of environmental, work over at Haldane, including goats.
You use your goats for lawn and property maintenance?
Yeah, so this is a totally student-driven initiative, and so the goats come in and they take out all the invasive species in different regions, and the students are growing native species. So they have probably about 2.5 acres that they want to conquer this year, but last year they were pulling everything out by hand, and they were like, this is crazy. And then they found a way to get goats, and the board was gracious enough to approve us bringing in goats. Chocolate chip.
I also want to just add full disclosure, I think our middle schoolers would also say that it was a bit of a jump.
Yeah, true.
At the high school, and I think they may have felt that they were the only ones feeling the jump, but full disclosure, our middle schoolers, I think, feel that too, and a lot of it is increased expectations of independence and whatnot, so, just want to put that out there.
It is always nice, I really appreciate you. You're so great.
Well, with the technical difficulties, I'll just do it from here, if that's okay. So I want to thank you, Board of Education. I'm going to conclude my superintendent's report this evening with sharing with the community and the board the superintendent's goals for the school year. I know that the board just adopted their goals in previous board meetings, and I wanted to just share what the superintendent's goals are for this year. We have a few priorities. The first priority is long-range fiscal planning. And the person to my right is very responsible to help us get there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that this evening. But one of the plans we have is to develop a comprehensive long-range fiscal plan for next school year with the board that ensures not only fiscal stability, but also make sure that we support and continue to support academic excellence, the arts, which we saw this evening, as well as looking at the resources that we, A, have to protect, and B, how we can leverage resources in our community to do more with less. Our second priority is long-range facilities planning. We have a beautiful building. This community approved a wonderful bond that made some significant improvements in our school. However, there are some things that we need to look at. Already, so working with the board, working with Joe, we will look to optimize our facilities and resources and upkeep our facilities and resources. A couple of pictures here of some things that we need to really start to focus on. There is some aging infrastructure that may produce some safety issues that we really need to address in subsequent years. But also to leverage some of the resources we have and make improvements like our school forest. So right now we're looking at ways to enhance our school forests and expand our educational footprint there in our environmental education program. So priority 3 is to improve our foundational literacy, as well as continue to develop and expand our environmental education program. The board has heard from me multiple times about our literacy initiative, really making sure that professional development for our staff is research-based, cutting edge, and that we're moving the ball forward in terms of innovative next generation learning standards. Lastly, we really want to expand, and we're going to talk a little bit on one of the steps we're going to make this evening, hopefully, to move our environmental education program forward, to also include more engineering in that program with the sustainability and environmental education lens, at the same time aligning all of it with our vision of a graduate. Lastly, priority 4 is communications and public relations. We're looking at ways to enhance our communication infrastructure. We want to foster greater engagement. It was so exciting to see so many people this evening here and listening to our students perform, and people being engaged in our community, engaged in our schools. And we're just looking at new ways to get content to our community, to get information to our community in ways that may be different than in the past. And lastly, our 5th priority is the state has allowed us a lot of time to look at our teacher evaluation system. I've already engaged in discussions with the Teachers Association that we're both looking eagerly and forward to a new evaluation system. So our hope is next year we'll engage in those discussions with our teachers, and we're going to make an evaluation system once the regulations come out that are really going to be more about the teaching and learning process, curricular conversations, really more deep and rich, rather than a compliance document that the state put out when they did 3012D, 3012C, but really one that is for Garrison, by Garrison, and gives our teachers the feedback and working with the administration to really enhance and improve their craft. So that is it for my superintendent's report. I wanted to make it quick, but I'm happy to answer any questions from the Board of Education.
We're good. Thank you so much for that. And now we're going to move on. Are you going back? To Great, we have our award of tenure for Joe Dimmick. Before, what I'd like to do here is already read Dr. Solo. I'm going to read the recommended action, the motion on the table, and then I have to think of it, I'm sure you do as well. We don't, and Carl taught us to pay attention right now. Tenure is really important decision. I think that's one of the big things I learned from this. So when we have these moments, it's really important. I've been waiting for years. Start with the action. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, does hereby award tenure to Mr. Joseph Jim, School Business Administrator, in the tenure area of School Business Administrator effective February 1, 2025. May I have a motion?
Third.
We'll all so I'm going to start here. If you don't mind. I remember, but when you started right before lunch. Let's do it. And pull together that budget. It was really, you dove right in, which we really appreciate it. I know Carl appreciated it, because we were coming out of COVID. The following year, I'm going to use the word we're not supposed to use anymore, but we had the override here. It was really a challenge. We saw us through that, while also taking on facilities. I know you're tenured in this area, but you do also public facilities. I'll tell a little story here. We had a budget presentation, if anyone remembers it, in the school gym. It snowed. Joe did an entire presentation, answered all the community's questions. There were a lot of questions because that was our override here. We had everybody out in a snowstorm at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Then he put on his hat, put on his boots, and went and said, all right, wait here. If you want to leave, I have to go shovel the stairs first. And he went and cleared the paths for it to get out. He touches every part of this. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without what we did without him. Another one of my favorite stories is my last favorite story. Early on, as board president, he had approved the capital project. I had all the bond documents. I have learned to have a deep passion for audit and all things financial in this district. It is not my background. I sat down and wrote the bond documents, and on every page I had a question. It was a lot. And he sat with me, and we explained everything. So I feel like I really know what I signed when I signed those bond documents on behalf of the district. And I'm really, the patience and professionalism that you brought to this job is key.
Well, I don't have a ton of Joe Gimmick stories, but I'm building them. I just want to take a moment to tell the Board of Education that you, Joe, it is my great pleasure to recommend you. I have only been here 5 short months, but in that time, I can echo everything you said, Sarah, and add to it. Your ability for fiscal management, ensuring district operates smoothly and efficiently, from transportation to facilities, to temperatures in people's rooms, to whatever it is that people need to do to feel comfortable. Joe is there to do it. You have been instrumental in getting us to the position we are financially as a district. The other thing that I want to share with everybody is Joe's leadership too. He has a team of dedicated facilities folks, bus drivers, his business staff, and to a team. His caring, his commitment, his passion for not only their work, but also their personal lives is what sets our district and our culture apart from other districts. Joe, you've been definitely an instrumental in ensuring that culture. And lastly, as our administrative cabinet, our leadership team, we're not many, but we're mighty. You've been a tremendous support to us, but you've been a tremendous support as the new superintendent Garrison of this process. This community is fortunate to have you as a business administrator, as a central office leader, and I am proud to call you a colleague, and congratulations. You've been this award.
I need to go to minutes. Anyone else wants to say it? I know many of you have not had.
He's the ultimate pro. He's the perfect, does everything in this district. To be lost. Whatever.
I'll everyone my echo everyone. I met Joe on the other ones were hired with actually doing a little, not coming out by any means. But one thing that I really admire is that he really likes challenges. And he's really inspired by it. He can take them on.
All right, please. The vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstentions. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for staying.
Say a little something?
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. And I really want to express my gratitude to all of you for Dr. Stoll for recommending tenure and for all the board members for granting it. It's very much appreciated. And I have to thank Carl for bringing me to Garrison. And I'm very glad that he happened to be here today for me to tell him that. But your trust in me and your leadership is really what makes it good. And what makes it a great place to be. Garrison is really special. We have dirt roads, we have our own forest, we have a train station that takes you to New York City, and we have the lowest tax in the world. So those are all Garrison. It's all, all true. I like challenges, as we talked about, and these are challenges here that you don't see anywhere else. It's part of what we do. But really what we're trying to do is create a place where inspiring educators can kind of play a crucial role in shaping a child's life and what they're going to do in the future. And I can personally attest to this, because I remember my chemistry teacher when I was in high school, Mr. Walmer. He did this one experiment where he made hydrogen gas. It was in an aquarium, and bubbles arrived out into the room, and he had a candle on a stick that he popped the bubbles with. And I don't think he would do that today, but it did that then. And he also developed a way for students to experience chemistry in like the neighborhood. And that was kind of what kicked me off into going to get chemical engineering. So it was a relationship that I had with a teacher at school that changed that. And I think that we're trying to create a safe and comfortable and collaborative environment where that kind of stuff can happen. And that's a big part of what we do. And I applied that engineering knowledge for a few years, doing manufacturing and field engineering and all that. And even though I don't do that now, I do use the I don't do that now. I still use some of that problem solving and that information that I learned there to kind of in my daily work here solve problems. And the staff that we've been able to develop here, what we have when I came versus what we have now, the relationship with the staff is just so good, and the people that we have that are, like I said, the bus drivers and the facility people and the people in my office and the rest of the school really is a much better reflection of what it was when we started. So it's really great. And I have to also express a lot of gratitude for my wife Laura. She's not here today because she's a building principal, and it's a busy time of year for her as well. But she kind of was the motivation for me to get advanced degrees and to do this school business thing. And I wouldn't be where I am without her. And I'm really fortunate to be here in Garrison, and I think what we do and create moments where kids can really think about what they're doing and what they want to do, figure out a way to make it happen. So I really appreciate the trust that you put in me, and it's a great thing. Thank you.
We're going to pause briefly.
You're very good.
You got cupcakes?
Yeah, there are cupcakes.
Okay. Public comment. Is that together? I'm gonna go ahead while I was gathering their seats and read my paragraph. Public comment is intended to members of the community to speak openly voice concerns. In accordance with policy 15 of the Garrison Union Free School District, any person wishing to speak shall comply with all provisions of the policy. Comments about specific school personnel or individual students are a violation of board policy. Concerns regarding students or personnel should be discussed privately with the superintendent or appropriate administrator. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and speakers are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. The board will listen to comments but will not engage in dialogue. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided through the appropriate channel. Members of the public wishing to comment during board meetings are asked to place their name and town of residence on the side. Commenters will be invited to the podium to address the board. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. There is more public comment later this evening if anyone wishes to comment. Okay, acceptance of minutes. The Arizona Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby accept the minutes of the regular workshop business meeting of November 13, 2024, and the minutes of the special meeting of December 9, 2024, as presented. May I have a motion, please? Any questions on the minutes as presented? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. Yes. Financial reports. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accepts the claims audit report for November 2024 as presented. May I have a motion, please? Thank you. Do you have any questions on the claims audit report as presented? I don't see any. Questions on the vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstention. That brings us to the committee reports. Policy committee, Jen, you're up. Thank you.
So the policy committee met on November 15th. We reviewed 13 policies and determined the following next steps. For 6 of the policies, we determined that they need consent to return for review prior to action. We are working on revising 3 policies, which will include the next policy committee review. 3 of the policies that were which and control prior to project. We requested that 2 policies we work toward for meeting to the agenda. The first one is wellness. This is a modification of our current policy to tear down by us and by the attorney in one of our district. And the second one is really typographical in nature, I would say, the workplace violence prevention policy. Our policy actually stated the name of our policy. And we're recommending to the board that change the policy to say superintendent of the designate, so that every year that policy does. And then finally, there are 2 suggested but not required policies, one on student government and one on advanced coursework that we are recommending not be added. We have a discussion about you don't have to have a policy to need a policy that has to. And our next council meeting is February 4th at 5 p.m.
Any questions for Jen? Moving on then to PEI, so you have the next 2 jobs. PEI for your report.
Thank you. So the PEI committee met last week, December 3rd. And we had admin, teachers, and students there. A lot of updates. I think one thing that's pretty clear with our PEI work is kind of about really the culture of the school and their ability to people not necessarily things that we take off the board. But one thing that we rolled out in January is electing auxiliary, which will be all the broader on the planning. Planning, we just met a meeting. We discussed 3 issues. One of them is, I think, really interesting and exciting, the road. You know, we really toiled with the idea of how do we assess whether or not our students are actually gaining the skills and position as part of the BOE. We changed the report card, and we rightly decided that that's a lot of work and a lot of tasks. And so instead, we're rolling out really beginning in January, a lot of my work is done. So student self-assessment, my grade band, where the students will actually have to reflect on how they may or may not be developing in all the different mission areas of the BOG. Kind of same skills-based areas that are really being tackled in the classroom, as well as the standard scorecard assessment. So this is going to be a fun initiative. We have our guidance team working with the students. So the assembly in January, my grade band goals, hopefully, as a student, put together a portfolio and evidence of their learning, how they're growing. All of that growth will be made to parents during the spring time. So I think it'll be like a nice full circle for all of the work we've done with the vision graduate. I think these like teachers, because the feedback we've gotten is teachers are, so I think it's and then just quickly 2 other things. Science of reading, still working on it, going well. It's a lot of work, but I would say that there's a lot of stuff on track. And finally, environmental education is a long-term planning development. And we'll see in a few moments, we have the transition to another environmental educator, which we're excited about. There's a lot of, there's scoping and agency that has been done by Harvard, will be just, but then continue to welcome the new faculty. We'll work to really solidify that so that there'll be a clear plan moving forward for our environmental education curriculum, so that we can really land on it.
Right, this is great subject. Is that listing all of that, all the meetings, just anything that or want to bring forth for teaching here, the board was welcome, the full board was welcome. Actually, involved in the family that be a big audience.
That's the trick, right?
Is the trick, so.
Bring the kids, they have to bring the parents, they don't drive.
Let's hear what they think about their report card and how they're reflecting on
We do have a couple presentations that we will bring to the board, 2 in the next month. One will be about our physical space, and then the other will be about literacy. And you know, we hope to bring kids to future board meetings, and we can talk about the experience of the reflection of what does it mean to be empathetic, resilient, and how do they know they're exhibiting this. Yeah, I like bringing kids here, and they say it better than we do.
Thank you. Any other questions for either of these committees or move on? Okay, thank you. Moving on to the CSE recommendations. Be resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Preschool District approved the Committee on Special Education, CSE, and the Committee on Preschool Special Education, CSE recommendations. May I have a motion, please? Motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, we're now to our policy readings. First one is policy on wellness. I think you addressed with somebody update. If anyone has any comments, it's just a first reading. We're not going to update this. Questions, speakers, thoughts? I mean, it's good with their
But I've had already reported it. Yeah, and it has been in like, what, 2 months total service.
Okay. There's no other questions on wellness. I'm going to moving to first reading of policy on the
workplace violence prevention policy statement. We do have a recommended action for this evening, be it resolved Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby approves the revision of policy 6190, workplace violence prevention policy statement as presented. May I have a motion, please? Do you have any other questions or comments on this before we vote? All in favor then, please say aye.
Aye.
Yay. That brings us to our consent agenda. Be it resolved, Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approve the items as the personnel consent agenda as presented. May I have a motion? And then before we move to a vote here, is there a couple things we want to address and also celebrate?
Yeah, well, first, I know her and family waited a long time. I'm glad that you did. Board of Education, I am more than pleased to recommend Krista Buchanan as our next environmental educator. This recommendation follows through after a very rigorous search process. It included multiple interviews, virtually, a demonstration lesson, a comprehensive reference checks, discussions about the demonstration lesson. It was a comprehensive process. And Krista is bringing her 12 years of experience from the New York City school system as a science teacher, as a professional developer, but also as a national board certified, which is a very high bar. She has a New York State certificate in biology in grades 5 to 9, a master's in biology, and a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. During her interviews and demonstration lessons, Krista impressed us with a deep knowledge of environmental science, but also her ability to connect with the students and staff. The minute she started teaching them and started interacting with them, we knew that those kids would follow her anywhere that she went, and her lesson was phenomenal. Her passion for sustainability, environmental stewardship aligns perfectly with our district's commitment to fostering a sustainable future through a comprehensive environmental education and innovative STEM programs. We are confident that Krista will bring her expertise and enthusiasm and will significantly enhance our already incredible environmental education program and bring our student program to the next level. We look forward to seeing our students gain valuable knowledge and skills, empowering to impact not only their community, but the larger community in a positive way. At this time, I would just like if we could bring her to the podium and we can just congratulate her and give her a little photo. Yes. Otherwise.
I know. Thank you. I'm excited.
Well said. Yes, and thank you for staying.
We're excited too. There is one other thing here on the consent agenda. I want to point out that we did have the community member volunteer for the advisory committee. So thank Heather Hayes for volunteering. We'll take it.
Either way, she's on.
We'll take it. We're just thrilled to have the community showing up and being part of our committee. We have one more round for next. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. We do need to vote on this, so ready? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? All right. That concludes the consent agenda, and now we move on to new business. Be resolved, the Board of Education of Garrison Union Preschool District hereby approves the new business items as presented. May I have a motion, please? Second. Before we move on, we're going to have any questions. We'll do your comments, but we do have a very exciting transfer of taxes. I'm sure Josie, I will not be here for about taxes. All good? We'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Abstentions? One day, you're all really excited about taxes. I know. Only we're excited. Then we'll get excited? All right. Moving on to, we have our last public comment. I'm not going to read my paragraph again. Anyone choose to comment? No comment. Board member comment and other discussion. All right, Eric, you're up.
No, just welcome to our new environmental science teacher. Yeah.
So, thank you to our students for performing today. It's always a beautiful time for the team. Congratulations to Joe.
Yeah, I just want to echo the congratulations to Joe and Greta. Very excited about continuing the environmental education program. And Joe, as it says, there's many hats, and I don't know what we do. We didn't have you wearing those hats. If those are the facility issues, it's, I think people don't know how much you do around here, and it's an incredible contribution.
I'll just say, I think I know these high school presentations, very thorough, but it's something now has all three of which kids, three high schools next year. It's been really nice to see them come. They're all very passionate about our students. We're very lucky to have these options, and it's really nice to see them come to us and say how important we are. So it's been really, I think, useful time for all of us. But they're watching the video, hearing them, and great stuff.
I completely agree with that, and I feel like I appreciate the administrators taking it out. Hopefully gives us all a broad understanding of having our tuition dollars when we allocate a large portion of our budget towards education and community opportunities that we as a board, it's the exactly what we want to hear, and we don't really come to us when we talk about that. If we could set up a real protocol around how often we feel we can do it without things from our for me to think about it at the time. How we can share again, that was the show. This really was, I think, one of my favorite here. Every hour. Again, congratulations to our new teachers. Look forward to the full winter concert. I hope everyone in the community receives their postcards. Thank you guys for sending those out. All right. And next up, we have, we don't have another meeting for the year. All right, executive session. Be resolved, Board of Education of Garrison Union Preschool District hereby enters into executive session to